I want to give you a heads up on the basketball sports counting fans parser thing. Again, you don't have to be into sports to like this, but sports is a great way of being able to get a bunch of data on the internet, being able to parse data on the internet. And they tend to stay pretty static once they're created because, these people are typically running the sites for free and they don't have much time to change stuff. So hopefully this test stays pretty solid. But the idea is I don't want to have to deal with sports stats. So let's deal with something very simple. How many people watched a player play over the course of their career? How many people attended live games? Now, you can, this isn't a very useful statistic in the fact that, if one player is popular, everybody else has the same number of people playing, and almost all the NBA's teams of any, top tier sell out almost every game. So it's not a big differentiator here, but it is a little bit of an interesting idea. So this has three parts because there's three levels of pages. And this is a great idea to understand how to build a componentized solution. So the first exercise you have is to go simply to a single game and tell me how many people were in attendance at that game. So in this case, I'm looking at the Chicago Bulls at the Boston Celtics on October 30th, 2002. So if I go down, oh, here, just do it this way. Attendance. If I search for attendance, then it doesn't show up. Why didn't it show up? There. It's right here. So you can see right here is the attendance for that game. 18,624 people attended this game at the Boston Garden on this date in 2002. Um, so having found this information then I can find it in the page by essentially right clicking and saying inspect. That's what we saw before. We've done this before, but just show you it again. And so when I inspect it, sometimes it's a little bit hidden. Oh, but you can see there's a div tag, and then inside of there's a strong tag with attendance, and then the number that shows up with that. And so for this exercise, I actually want you to go through and just simply find that number in any one of these pages that you're given, but the test case will have a specific page that you're given it for, and then you're going to return that number back. So that's the first step. So that gives us the attendance for one game. So what if I want to know the attendance for a whole season of games? Well, this is the page that will show you a player and their game log for, in this case, the 2002-2003 season. So it has a table here which shows all the games that they played in the regular season. This just repeats occasionally, but all the games they played in the regular season, 77 games in this case, and each one of these link to that page there. So you can see I've visited a couple of these, but this was the first game of the season in 2002, which was that 10:30 game, which was the page up above. So in this case, what you need to do is come here and find this link in the table. You go through each one of the links in the table. So we inspect it, and you say, okay, well, here's the box score, the link for that goes to the other page for the specific date. And so we can see it's inside of this table, inside of a cell, there's an href. And so what we're going to do in this case is we're going to capture the date and we're going to visit this page and grab the attendance for that date. So quite simply, all we're going to do is go through every single one of these cells in the table with the link to a date inside of that, and we'll say for this date we're going to grab the attendance on that date, and then we're going to add them all up. That's going to be the number of fans that visit for a season. And if I want to know how many fans somebody had in their whole career, well, I can go to their career page. And so here's another player out here, a player with a pretty short career overall because it makes our processing faster. But they played one career. And if I click one season in their career, excuse me, of course they played one career, but one season in their career. And so if I click on that, then I go to their one season, which then has a fairly short number of games. This person only played 11 games in that season, and unfortunately 11 games in their career. And they didn't even play all of them; they were inactive in a bunch of them, but they still were technically there. So um, this is it's very similar to the previous one, where essentially what I want to do, sorry, let me go back because that's what I saw before, is I want to go through each link that goes to a season and essentially then grab the make the call to my other component, which then gives me the fans in the season. So then this one scrolls through each of them. So that is your task. There is some helpers for that. This video right here, I just want to set you up on what the task is. And what I'm hoping you can do is dive into it on your own. But if you need some help, there'll be additional resources for you to check it out. But for now, I just want to tell you what the problem is, what you're looking for, and kind of what you should look at on these pages to see that. Now, if you're not sure about these links are available in the test code, so you can see here that player we looked at, Jay Williams, that's the link that I was looking at. There'll be something in each of them. And the other thing I'll note here is I hard coded this. Theoretically, this should be the same. It shouldn't change. They're not playing anymore. But this test will take some time when you run it because it goes through and hits the internet, in this case, probably a dozen different times. To be able to go get the information. So be patient on these tests. You might want to add some print lines to be able to see the progress it's making, see which ones it's calling or whatnot, to go through and make all that happen. So just be aware of that as you're doing the work. That's going to be a little bit slower. You have to be meticulous, but the process still works. And most importantly, I wouldn't worry about trying to do it all at once. I would just simply print out things and make each little piece work, and then hopefully it works much easier when you put it all together.